It'll be titled "The Rewriting of History." History will be rewritten. It's already being rewritten little by little. See, white people control this information, most of it. I remember reading about slavery like back in the day. I'm gonna tell you a little incident that tripped me out. I went to the library. This was years ago, and I was checking out a book on slavery, right? And this white guy was behind me, finna check out something, and he saw the book that I was reading, and he said, yeah, yeah, slavery was terrible. It was terrible." And then he says, "Those black people in Africa sold those slaves to the white people." I didn't say anything. I just got my book and left. That right there is the white mentality in a nutshell. They they want to rewrite history because, see, one thing about white people, they're very comfortable pointing out the flaws or the wickedness of other people. Like white people in America, like they ain't got a problem pointing out the wickedness of the Germans during the Holocaust. They ain't got a problem pointing out the wickedness of the Arabs. They ain't got a problem calling out the wickedness of Mexicans or anybody who's not white, even the shit that black people do. But they'll go to great lengths to hide or disguise the wickedness of their own. You see what I'm saying? They hate that. They hate to acknowledge that because this is a country that prides itself on the land of the free, the home of the brave. And when you hear that slogan, I think of certain slogans and shit that advertisers or companies use, like Burger King, "You can have it your way," or McDonald's, "I'm loving it," or Walmart, or any of these, um, or like Allstate. Are you in good hands? That's all that is. That's all that is. It sounds good. It's a good marketing tool. Yes, good marketing slogan. See, America is marketed. All this shit is marketing. It sounds good. It sounds great. But is it reality? No. And land of the free. And this was going on when you had millions of black people enslaved, murdering them, killing them, raping them. The usual shit. When everything was separate. It's just like it's ironic to see black people celebrate the 4th of July because black people weren't free then. When they came up with the idea of 4th of July holiday and shit and all that, black people were slaves. But they want to rewrite history because They want to do away with motherfuckers calling out this country, specifically black people, because black people are like when you see a black person in America, you see the fuckery that went on in this country. You see what I'm saying? When you see black people in this America, see black people, and this is what people try to do. You cannot separate a people from their history. You can't do it. You can't separate a people from their history. Like white people, why are they doing so good? Well, they're doing good because their ancestors, people back in the day, 1800s, back in the 40s, back in the day when you had motherfuckers working for them for free, when you had a government that helped them out, stole land for them, gave them handouts to help them build a foundation, black people working for free for them to help them build a foundation. Well, that's why white people are doing better than black people. Black people, here's a good example. You had plenty of black entertainers back in the day who had money, right? Famous people. But they were locked out of the entertainment industry. And they needed a white person, like a white, let's put it this way. A black person might make a great song. And then a white person will redo that song and make millions of dollars off of it because he's white. That's how white people benefited. See, white people benefited from slavery, from segregation and all that type of shit. They benefited from that. There were lots of benefits from that for that. They benefited from racism and shit. So that white person who may have stolen a black person's song, his family is probably living off of that money. He made plenty of money with that song during the time or whatever he was popping, like Pat Boone or somebody like that. And I'll use another example in music. Let's go back in the day. Just back in the 40s and 30s. This is the jazz age, right? It was segregated then, too. 30s and shit. You had Duke Ellington and all these great black jazz musicians, Count Basie, these brothers, all black groups, right? And see what the white people would do was we used to hate on this jazz thing, but now we got to find a white guy that can do it. And they'll take this white guy who may halfway know how to do it. See, they'll bend the rules for themselves. Like there's a guy named Benny Goodman. Now he's the white guy who basically copied off the black guys, like Duke Ellington and Count Basie and them guys. And they would bend the rules for these guys. Even during segregation, they would have Fletcher Henderson, a great black arranger and everything like that, band leader. He would make all of Benny Goodman's arrangements. Benny Goodman also had it integrated. He was one of the first guys to integrate his band with a great black guitar player named Charlie Christian. You see what I'm saying? They would bend the rules for themselves. And that's what they do now. They bend the rules for themselves. And they'll say, When they say he was the king of swing, he was called the king of swing. That's what black people got to understand is that they bend the rules for themselves in order to benefit from it. You got to stick by certain rules, but they don't. It's just like the law. Like the law only applies to nobody motherfuckers like myself. If I get pulled over for running the red light, I gotta pay that shit. In the story. But if some white dude who knows another white motherfucker or just be white, he can get off light. The judge might remind the judge of his grandson and he'll give him a light sentence or give him nothing. I've seen this shit happen. Like the United States will charge another country or the United Nations, they'll charge another country with war crimes and whatnot. But when the United States does shit like that, nobody says anything. They're gonna rewrite history, and this is the right time for it because you have so many brain dead black people out here who just don't get it. And not only and like I said, black people can be controlled by money. And you got a lot of these black talking heads like Crystalline Carrison, Tommy Sotomayor, and Charles Barkley. So many of these motherfuckers who do anything for money. That's why I say I have so much respect for Muhammad Ali because he said the truth, he spoke the facts, and he said, fuck the money. And that's a sign of integrity. And those are the type of people who white people fear because, and what they'll do though, they'll try to assassinate their character. You have so many brain dead black people now that it would be easily done because I think hip hop and modern culture has made black people extremely materialistic. I think black people have always been like that though, but they made it extremely materialistic and shallow, and that will be our that will be their key to our destruction.